A ballistic missile suddenly enters NATO airspace. Defense radars light up. Interceptor missiles launch. Within minutes, NATO destroys the missile. But here's the terrifying question. Was this a mistake? Or the moment the world came closest to triggering World War III? Chapter 1. The missile interception that shocked NATO. In early March 2026, radar systems monitoring the Middle East suddenly detected something unusual: a ballistic missile traveling toward Turkish airspace. Turkey is a member of NATO, which means any potential attack automatically raises serious security concerns across the alliance. Within seconds, NATO's integrated air defense network began tracking the projectile. Defense systems deployed across the region calculated the missile's speed, altitude, and trajectory. The data suggested that if nothing stopped it, the projectile could enter Turkish territory. So NATO's defensive protocol kicked in. Interceptor missiles were launched, racing toward the incoming threat. Within minutes, the missile was destroyed in the air before it could reach its target. Debris reportedly fell in southern Turkey, particularly near Gaziantep province, but thankfully, no casualties were reported. Was this missile actually intended for Turkey, or was it passing through the region during a wider conflict? And if NATO had not intercepted it, what might have happened next? Chapter 2. A second missile raises even more concern. Just days after the first interception, another alarming report emerged. Turkish authorities announced that a second ballistic missile had been detected entering their airspace. Once again, NATO's air defense network reacted immediately. The alliance operates one of the most advanced missile defense systems in the world. Radar stations detect threats thousands of kilometers away, while command centers coordinate responses across multiple countries. In this case, those systems worked exactly as designed. Interceptor missiles were launched and successfully destroyed the incoming projectile before it could cause damage. The second interception significantly raised tensions across the region. When two missile incidents occur within days, governments begin asking serious questions about intent, responsibility, and escalation. Turkey formally protested the incident through diplomatic channels and called for explanations. Meanwhile, NATO officials confirmed the interceptions and emphasized that the alliance remains fully committed to defending its member states. Although the situation was quickly contained, the fact that two missiles were intercepted so close together sparked intense debate among military analysts and international observers. Chapter 3. Why Turkey's location matters so much. Why would a missile entering Turkish airspace immediately trigger alarms across the entire NATO alliance? The answer begins with geography. Turkey sits at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, placing it in one of the most strategically sensitive regions in the world. Because of its location, Turkey plays a crucial role in NATO's overall security structure and serves as a key defensive line along the alliance's southeastern border. Turkey's southern frontier lies relatively close to several Middle Eastern regions where ballistic missile systems are known to operate. That means a missile launched from certain locations could potentially reach Turkish airspace within minutes, leaving very little time for a response. This geographic reality is one of the reasons NATO maintains a strong defensive presence in and around Turkey. The alliance uses advanced radar installations, early warning technology, and interceptor missile batteries designed to detect and destroy ballistic threats before they reach populated areas. These systems are connected through an integrated network that allows NATO members to share real-time tracking data. When the recent missile incidents occurred, that entire defensive structure was activated immediately. Chapter 4. Iran's Ballistic Missile Program. Iran possesses one of the largest ballistic missile arsenals in the Middle East. Over several decades, the country has developed a wide range of missile systems designed for different distances and strategic purposes. Many of these missiles are short and medium-range ballistic missiles capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers. Systems such as the Fateh 110 and Zulfiqar are designed to strike targets across the region with relatively short preparation times. These missiles typically use solid fuel engines, allowing them to be launched quickly from mobile platforms. From Iran's perspective, these capabilities are intended to deter. Iranian officials frequently state that their missile program exists to protect the country from external threats and maintain regional balance. However, Western governments and several Middle Eastern countries view the program very differently. They argue that such missiles can destabilize the region and increase the risk of escalation during conflicts. The recent interceptions brought renewed attention to this issue, highlighting how ballistic missile technology can affect countries far beyond the immediate battlefield. Chapter 5. Iran's Response and Denial. Following the interceptions, Iran quickly responded to the accusations. Iranian officials stated that they had not intentionally fired missiles toward Turkey and emphasized that they respect Turkey's sovereignty. Tehran even suggested conducting a joint investigation to determine exactly what happened. But this response raised new questions among analysts and observers. If the missile did originate from Iranian territory, was it targeting somewhere else entirely? Could it have been part of a broader military operation happening elsewhere in the region? Or was it simply a technical error or miscalculation? So the situation became more complicated. One side confirmed the missile's trajectory, but the other denied responsibility for targeting NATO territory. These conflicting narratives are not unusual during geopolitical crises. Governments often release different interpretations of events while investigations continue behind the scenes. Still, the incident demonstrated how quickly tensions can rise when advanced weapons cross international borders. Chapter 6. NATO's Defensive Strategy. After the interceptions, NATO leaders moved quickly to clarify their position. The alliance emphasized that its actions were purely defensive and aimed only at protecting member states from potential threats. NATO's missile defense network exists specifically for situations like this. It combines radar systems, interceptor missiles, command centers, and early warning technology into a coordinated shield designed to neutralize incoming threats. When radar detected the missile heading toward Turkish airspace, the system automatically triggered defensive protocols. Military operators assessed the risk and launched interceptors to destroy the projectile before it could reach populated areas. Officials stressed that this response does not mean NATO is entering a war with Iran. Instead, the alliance remains focused on monitoring the situation and maintaining defensive readiness. Following the incident, NATO increased surveillance and defensive alert levels in the region to ensure that any additional threats could be detected and intercepted as quickly as possible. Chapter 7. The Article 5. Question. Whenever a NATO member faces a potential attack, one critical question always comes up: Article 5. This clause states that an attack against one member of the alliance is considered an attack against all members. So naturally, people began asking whether the missile incident could trigger that clause. But NATO leaders quickly clarified the situation. At this stage, Article 5 is not being invoked. Why? Because determining intent is crucial. Was the missile deliberately targeting Turkey, or was it part of another military action in the region that accidentally crossed into NATO airspace? These questions matter because invoking Article 5 would dramatically escalate the situation. It could potentially involve multiple countries in a collective military response. But for now, NATO officials say the focus remains on defense and monitoring developments. So, the alliance continues to watch the situation carefully, preparing for any possibility while avoiding actions that might unnecessarily escalate tensions. Chapter 8. Are we actually near a global war? Whenever missile interceptions and military tensions dominate headlines, one phrase quickly appears across social media and news discussions: World War III. But how close is the world really to such a scenario? For a global war to occur, multiple major powers would need to enter direct military confrontation on a large scale. That is not currently happening in this situation. NATO has not declared war, and diplomatic channels remain active between the countries involved in the broader regional tensions. The recent interceptions highlight the dangers of modern warfare, especially when advanced missile technology and complex alliances are involved. But they also demonstrate how defensive systems and diplomatic restraint can prevent escalation. At the moment, the situation remains serious but contained. Governments are watching closely, analysts are studying the events, and international diplomacy continues working to reduce tensions. And as global audiences follow these developments, one thing is clear: the world is paying very close attention to what happens next. For now, the missiles have been intercepted. The crisis has not escalated, but the incident revealed something important. Modern wars can begin in minutes, with a single missile crossing the wrong border. And when powerful alliances like NATO are involved, the consequences could reshape the entire world.